For thousands of years, the old Kith clans worshipped Sejuk as the great maker whose hand shapes what is. It appears he is neither god nor myth. He is real. And Makan knows this.
Genna is a large asteroid field located beyond the outer rim, deep within the Vega reaches. The Bentusi have given us the coordinates of the Oracle. Intelligence data indicates there is a large military installation protecting extensive archaeological dig sites. It is surrounded by hyperspace inhibitors. We have located a weak point. Prepare to disengage hyperspace.
Hello my friends, this is Solar System, that's SISTIM, and welcome back to Let's Play Homeworld Remastered. Today I'd like to talk about tactics and why Homeworld is different from other RTSs due to the complete lack of a cover system. Getting the formalities out of the way, I am the owner and administrator of Let's Play Homeworld Remastered.com, and I will be playing Homeworld Remastered on an i3 computer with 8GB RAM, a Samsung 120GB hard drive, and a Radeon R290X 3GB video card. When I first started playing Homeworld years ago, I didn't make the connection that I made with later RTSs and strategy games that there simply is no cover system, aside from the occasional dust clouds that can conceal your fleets visually, but once spotted, offer no solid cover. This is different from other RTSs like StarCraft and Supreme Commander in that if your force gets into trouble, you have no chance of looking around and finding a rock or some such to hide behind and give your force extra time to recover and repair. You're pretty much stuck in combat unless most of your force is composed of light attack craft whose speed you can use to retreat to a safer location. This is no time for woe, however, because you can use this to your advantage. A large force composed of fast, light strike craft have in their arsenal not only weapons, but also the ability to dictate when and where a battle will take place. In addition, if that force commander feels his or her fleet is in trouble, has a real chance at a full retreat without being chased down and harassed. In my case, I would more likely feign a retreat when in fact I'm drawing the enemy force into ambush with my capital class ships. On the other hand, wielding a force composed of mostly capital ships, while far less flexible, offers far more staying power than light strike craft. There are three situations in which a capital fleet should be used. One is, as mentioned earlier, in ambush. Use your strike craft to engage the enemy, then break off and force your opponent to follow you, and lead them into weapons range of the capital ships. The enemy will be forced to either break off or fully commit. If they break off, you can continue to harass them with your strike craft, and if they commit, they will be standing off against your heavier ships. The second situation is when you're attacking the enemy's base. You're going to need the longer-term engagement capabilities of the larger ships since you will be facing off against the enemy mothership and very likely several carriers and battleships. Since there is no retreat in this situation, the enemy will be forced to stand and fight. They will not be able to use cover to their advantage and their fleet will remain exposed to yours until the battle is over. And the third situation is defensive, basically a reverse of the situation I just described. What this boils down to is that battleships, carriers, and even frigates are simply too slow to gain space superiority. Capital ships are best used as the hammer blow to a decisive maneuver, but rarely as harassing agents. Which brings me to my primary point. When two equivalent fleets meet, there are certain strategies you can use to assure victory, but using cover is not one of them. As one of the few games that simply has no cover system to speak of, it has taken me a demoralizingly long time to come to terms with that. I never understood why my superior fleets were being decimated by a seemingly benign foe. What it all boils down to is formation, stance, and supply line. Let's go over formations first. There are three formations available in Homeworld 2: Fighter Screen, Frigate Line, and Capital Phalanx, and each are effective in different situations. Since I tend to keep my big ships like carriers and battlecruisers separate from my main fleet, let's assume that in the following examples, no super to capital ships are present. In the first formation, the Fighter Screen, The strike craft lead, the frigates are in the center of the body, and the capital ships bring up the rear. This formation is probably best used as a fast reaction and harassing force. Since your strike craft are at the front, they will accelerate and meet the enemy force first, swamping their defenses, while the larger ships can leisurely move in and engage. This formation is also best for meeting enemy targets from multiple directions. While this formation has great upfront burst damage potential, your strike craft will suffer greatly. Be prepared with a couple of carriers to repair squadrons during the battle. The second formation, the frigate line, puts your frigates up front, the capital ships following closely behind, and strike craft threaded throughout the formation. This formation is a favored general purpose tactic, and while not as maneuverable as the fighter screen, will pack a punch. Your frigates will take the brunt of the enemy attack while your strike craft move out and engage, so reinforce your fleet with a few resource collectors and they will automatically repair your frigates. Your capital ships will pretty much stay behind and use their huge range advantage to pummel the enemy from the safety of the rear. And the third formation, the capital phalanx, puts your super capital ships in the front, the frigates in the center, and the strike craft at the rear. This is basically a defensive formation with the huge firepower of your super caps at the front, with supporting fire offered by your frigates, and the strike craft are left at the rear ready to lance out and attack any enemy ships that are trying to break through. Moreover, the time it takes to reverse this formation's direction is measured in minutes. But seriously, unless you just love requeuing super capital ships to be built at the mothership, don't use this formation unless you are in dire need of defense. Your super caps will take the brunt of the enemy's fire, and chances are good you will lose some. It's a lot cheaper and a lot faster to queue up strike craft than it is to queue up new capital ships. Placing your fleet in the correct formation can be the difference between a victory with a few interceptor squadrons left and a victory with most of your fleet intact. In time, I will go into more detail and give demonstrations on this. That's all for today, folks. Thanks so much for watching. This is Solar System. Good day and good hunting.